Hey orchid friends, it's Deb. So next up in this series of how are they now and what am I doing different is my Prosthechea cochleata, or otherwise known as the Encyclia cochleata. It was reclassified a few years ago, also known as the cockle shell orchid or the octopus flower, because the flower is very interesting looking. It does look like an octopus. So it's upside down, the lip is at the top, and the petals hang down, and they look like the octopus tentacles. Um, so I got her in March of 2020, and she came to me as a seedling. And so I knew I was going to be waiting a few years for her to mature. I didn't have a problem with that. And when I got her, I remember thinking, is this like a miniature orchid? Because, like, look at the size of that little bulb there. Just tiny, tiny. And the wild thing is, it has not really, I mean, if you look, this was last year's bulb. And then, compared to the previous bulbs, it's definitely sized up. But I have seen other growers with this in their collection, and their pseudobulbs are huge. Um, so, I used to have her growing in the glass pebbles, glass stones, in semi-water culture. So once a week, I would fill up the water, give her a nice big drink for a little while, an hour or so, dump out the water, and then do it all again a week later. And she's always had great roots. I've never had a problem with root rot or anything like that with her. It's just she's been growing so slow. And like I said, like species orchids tend to grow slow. They tend to only put out one growth a year. I just wasn't expecting growing at this slow of a rate, right? So in September, I made that decision a while ago that I am no longer forcing the orchids to grow as I want them to grow. I'm going to try to give them the media that they want to grow in and that they will be at their happiest. So in September, I repotted her into fir bark, pumice, and charcoal. And I mean, like I said, she's always had great roots, and there's lots of little growing tips happening all around the pot. So I know her root system is strong. With her last bulb too, she did get this, like, I don't even know how to explain it. You know how it has that as the bulb is starting to come out, it gets that, those little layers, what are they called, bracts? They get those little layers that protects the bulb as it's growing, and then you just peel them off, where, little bugs and stuff like to hide in. You just peel them off. So I thought that, that's what it was. It got stuck. It's not causing any harm to the plant. I have no idea what it was or what it is. But here we are. Bit of a tangent, I don't know. But this is her last growth. So this started, this started in the summertime, and then I decided, hey, this is probably a good time. Let's just throw her into a new pot with some different environment to grow in, and let's see what happens. So I've always had her on my, medium intensity light as well. So I think she's getting enough light. I don't think that's the problem. So I'm going to keep her there. I'm not going to move her out of the light yet. I'm going to keep her there, and I only want to change like one thing at a time, right? So for now, it's changing the potting media, and once I can see that she is super duper happy in growing in it, then I'll look at another change, maybe moving her over into a little bit brighter light. But yeah, so that's an update on her, and what I've done differently. So if you have one of these little beauties in your collection, let me know what your experience has been like. Do you have one of these painfully slow growers, and is your pseudobulbs super small like mine is, or do you have one of those big fat huge pseudobulbs? I'd love to find out. So let me know in the comments. And thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you in the next one.